Well, also notable at City Hall this week, interim Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis outlined new initiatives to the Memphis City Council. They included establishing a task force with the schools and the sheriff's office to prevent issues at schools spilling into parks and recreation centers after school, similar to the deadly Douglas Community Center shooting earlier this month. The other is to crack down on unpermitted events such as the deadly Orange Mound block party this past Saturday. MPD also wants to increase staffing at the permits office to get more eyes on, and also get more eyes from social media to be ahead of potential large gatherings in the preparation. Deidre, these two shootings have really drawn a lot of attention in recent weeks. So what do you make of trying to address this and hopefully not have a repeat?
Let me just say, Chief Davis has to pull all of her tricks out of her cap to try and make something happen. And I think this is a good start for her to pull the sheriff and other law enforcement leaders together to try and see what will it take. I mean, opening those community centers late, having late night basketball, I think that's a first step. But I think that what she's doing is gonna, I'm hoping it has an impact. I really do.
And Sam, we're just talking about things that we don't have enough of, including police officers. Do you think there's enough resources to just have patrol officers sitting outside, I guess, every police resource center or park?
I mean, I think it's a tough sell, to your point. And again, this is the issue that this city has, period, and that's its geography, right? You're talking about 300 square miles. You know, Parks Director Nick Walker was in the same city council meeting saying he's got 150 parks and 6 park rangers to patrol them. Like, one of the things I question, and you kind of are glad to see as a resident now, is the idea that maybe police officers and the Parks Department are talking to each other a little more. Maybe those community centers are maybe hubs of activity, of municipal activity, and that maybe is a way for the community to trust the police a little more. Like, all those things work together, and so it is, I mean, what happened last week is incredibly troubling, and you know, you'd like to see some response. We'll see what comes of it.
And it was, what was notable to me is after that meeting, Chief Davis spoke to us out in the hallway and said, we're being outgunned and outmanned at certain times. And that Orange Mound block party had hundreds of people. What do you make just of that situation and how they had to monitor that and how to, you know, prevent such a thing from happening, but also maybe 5 officers dealing with a crowd of 300 people potentially firing at each other?
Well, the fact is, what happened at the Orange Mound Park was a wake-up call for this community, that we have a lot of dangerous people in this community who are brazen at this point. They have no hesitancy to be flashing the kind of gunfire weapons that we saw there, and then to start shooting indiscriminately all over the place. I was glad to see C.J. Davis say that she's going to ask the federal government, federal investigators to come in, because I think we do need, and I said this earlier this week, we need a sort of a January 6th type investigation here, because we have so much video. They can find out who some of these people are and start bringing some federal charges here. But we have to have community involvement here. When you see people parading around a city park like this with guns, why didn't anybody call the police?
They're afraid.
I mean, well, okay,
but it's also legal.
Yeah.
Well, is, like, you can't stop somebody with a gun unless you suspect them to be a felon. And how do you have everybody's rap sheet?
Well, okay, you blame the legislature for that.
Now that's what you do.
Right, that's what you do there. But still, I mean, the police should have been on the scene, or should have been called on the scene, whether legal or not, to have that much firepower flying around in a public park. The police should have been at least around so that to try to stall anything that would have happened.
Well, and at one station I heard that neighbors were calling the police and they just didn't show up in time.
And that's the you have a police department who's down officer count,
absolutely,
you know, year over year, but you also have the 300 square miles.
Exactly.
The 300, like Orange Mound, like the precinct, you know, how far is that away?
No,
Tillman, yeah, that's a ways.
Yeah.
It's not close. And
they used to have a mini precinct, though, that was there. I don't think it's there now. There used to be one like at Christ Community Center, right in Orange Mound.
Right there. But and it should be noted, as of this taping Friday afternoon, no arrests have been made in that Orange Mound shooting, so we'll continue to keep tabs on that. Well, all right, that's all the time we have for that segment. After the break, both Tennessee chambers passed a law that would allow districts the right to arm teachers. Friday afternoon, Governor Lee signed that into law. So how were area districts responding? We'll discuss after the break.